It's wonderful to be amongst all of you this morning and tell you that India is not sleeping. We are very well aware, and a lot of things are being done both in India and in global community. What Mr. Duggal talked about, I'm going to actually give the progress in that area which is being done either by the government departments or by the international standard bodies. One of the things we have to realize that to have the transparency in the technology, one way is to have the standards. And these standards need to be built on the global scale. Then you know what's going on. Anything that doesn't comply with it, you can have the suspicion. Second thing, which is very important, that if you have built it in India, you have a better security than if you have got something from outside. And why it is? Because anybody who's here, who is doing research and development and all the design activities and creating PCBs and systems here, is well aware of the local context, also is well aware of the laws that apply, and also living in the same system. Whereas if you are importing something from outside, you don't know what you're getting. Consequently, the indigenous development of telecommunications especially is very important because all the data flows on the networks. And that's where one of the information that I want to share with all of you, everything is available. Routers, switches, high-end optical system, DWDM, which can carry 16 terabit on a single fiber. The GPON that can carry 10 gigabit symmetrical, which, all of these, what I'm talking about is state of the art. Whatever is available in the globe is available here. We are not in catch-up game. So you have the telecommunication gears which are available from India and which you can trust. Then what is the issue? The issue is that we are yet to recognize our own capabilities. But I will not drive this point too hard because this could be a separate conference. Let me come back to what Mr. Duggal talked about AI security as a security threat. In fact, artificial intelligence and deep learning, all of these are providing the insight into what's going on by collecting data from everywhere. And the difference is that they learn, like how a human being learns, they learn a little bit. Consequently, and we know some countries have gone ahead and built some systems which are part of all kind of things which are being put around. The cameras are being used, the sensors are being used, the voice samples are getting collected, the people, it is very easy to identify a person today. So also there are AI systems which are generating biases. Okay, very easy to train a machine into a biased decision making. Like how you can train human being, provide all the data to the human being that so and so is bad. You know all of this stuff, and eventually he start making decisions based on that. Similarly, artificial intelligence systems are also prone to making biased decisions. So what is being done about it? And I want anybody who's into software development related to AI actually look at the latest work which is going on in IEEE. IEEE is a standardization body of the global, probably the biggest standardization body in the ICT area. And what they have is a ethically designed autonomous systems. What does it mean? See, by the way, CDOT is participating in that, making their standard. And the working groups are just begun. So any one of you with a legal bent of mind, with a technological bent of mind, with the cultural bent of mind, can define, can decide what is ethical and what is legally acceptable and ethical. All of these is being defined by this IEEE. There's a book, there's a paper which is available on the website. You can download that. And what it does is it removes the biases from the way you are programming, also the data sources that you are collecting, and then certify through a standard operating procedure. That's the goal. So that's how we can actually, if we import any AI system, then we have to be careful that they get certified here in India. Second thing which has been talked about is that there are so many breaches that are happening globally, right? And banks are one of the targets, and cryptocurrencies are another thing that we heard that's happening. Now, what is the antidote for all of this? And why is that people are able to really break after getting the information which is encrypted? Because the encryption is as good as the computation power that you have. 128 bit, 256 AES, all of you would have heard about all these standards. The key is that they are hard to break because the amount of computation that is required is very, very high. Now, you have quantum computers coming in, and the quantum computers have tremendous amount of processing capability. So what will happen to all these AES 128, 256 and 1K kind of encryptions? They will be 0. So easy to break. So what's the thing that has to be done? Again, CDOT is working on that problem. We saw 5 years back it's going to happen. And quantum computers are yet to come. But what you do is that there are algorithms which are called quantum safe algorithms. It means that quantum computers, when they come, they will not be able to break this. There is research going on in this direction. And CDOT has built country's first quantum safe encryptors available. 1 gig pipe, it handles real-time online. So what is the research work, where it is happening? You can look at ETSI, ETSI. We are participating in some of those discussions. We have built our own quantum encryptor. And the quantum encryptor that we are talking about will allow you to have the computational, safe algorithms. It means that however amount of computation you have, power you have, you will not be able to break it. That is how you protect all these encryption that we talked about. People are able to hack, break, collect. So you collect a lot of data, but you will not be able to break it. Also, another thing that is being talked about in the encryption is the QKD. Some of you would have heard quantum key distribution, because the key distribution in itself, people try to find out the keys, and they are able to get those keys to kind of open up the information that you are looking for. So if you are reasonably sure that there won't be any pattern in the keys that are there for encryption, then you require something called quantum key generator. So quantum key distribution works on a photon, single photon, and with that photon has a probability and entanglement. It is Einstein called it spookiness. So what happens is that in short, the numbers generated from this phase of the photon, nobody can predict. And it is as fundamental as the physical law. So you will have randomness introduced, and then you will be able to have the encryption across the servers, which is of this high order, and totally not, even if you have the data, you will not know what next is coming. Third, third thing that has been talked about is the blockchain. I think what is required in the blockchain people are very excited, because what happens is that you have 10 guys coming together, everybody has the same information, like you have the common business ledger, and then everybody says that you can't delete, so everything is safe. Now, what about law enforcement agencies? If they don't get what's going on, how will they enforce the law? Consequently, there is a regulation necessary before we implement blockchain, and what that regulation should be, no-touch regulation. But the government trusted agency should be part of all the blockchain. They will not do anything, simply listen what's going on, and use that as an evidence, which is going to be a topic that you will have very soon. And they can say, this is what was going on, this is what I have heard, like having somebody trusted blockchain. And also AI and blockchain brought together, you can create a regulation framework. So I will not delve into this because, next thing that I wanted to talk to you is that if your phone is the biggest problem and that you have in front of security, if you lose your phone, now this is an intelligent device. Why is that you can't get it back? So there is something called IMEI. Now, if you have a common IMEI, which is equipment identification, then also you are not able to get your phone. Why? So what happens is that people are able to change the IMEI, but there is a law which has come slowly into action that changing EMI is 3 months in jail, 3 years in jail. Okay, but how do you catch? So what we have done in CDOT for the public good is that if you lose your phone, it's going to be launched in a very short time, maybe about 6 months you will have that full-fledged Pan India. We did the trial of that, which was launched, is that we ensure that Pan India, if you lose your phone, it won't operate and people will come to know where it is, easy to locate. So if you 6 months from now, hopefully you will have a cyber thana that will be able to figure out where the phone. If it goes outside India, we have GSMA from where we are getting all the data, so and identifying all of that. That's what is going on. It's called Central Equipment Identity Register, CEIR, which is being created again at CDOT. The issues about the cyber security which has been brought. Now, don't think that India doesn't have capability in terms of figuring out. We have CERT, which is already in public domain. You have information about the CERT. And consequently, we know pretty much that the threats are coming. The key is that how do you make these networks safe? How do you tell people that you are being attacked? The attack durations are increasing. So what is happening? Akamai reports actually talked about this. They say that earlier on there used to be 10 gigabit, now 100 gigabit attack on a single device, lasting for 4 hours. And just now I saw 370 hours attack on a device. It means the device is going to be down. Now in India we are used to this because we are not able to differentiate whether it is an attack or it is down. Something is down because the server is down. You would have heard on many occasions that you can't get service. Consequently, the attacks need to be identified and they can be actually recognized by the people. Finding out the rogue devices, rogue individuals, rogue organization can be done collectively by the collaborative efforts. Now that's what is missing. The standard operating procedures of the law enforcement agencies, when they are followed, they get some information and they're able to make the country safe consequently. But if they know, people actually inform what is the anomaly that they're facing, then you can collect that information and you can be more secure collectively, because cyberspace is all about everybody on board. We don't have that culture here. That's one of the problems that we see. Also corporates, they protect themselves, but they don't report. And that's why what happens is that you sometimes get vulnerable. Next time, every time new threats come and everybody is caught unaware. So with that, what I wanted to assure all of you, the technology is in India, available pretty much. The government is aware. Government is actually having some fantastic initiatives in this space. Are we as ahead as anybody else? Well, in some areas, yes, but many areas, obviously no. The public awareness is the one biggest thing which is missing. I just wanted to bring to you that, technology is not a problem, because we have most brilliant minds here from IITs and ITs. They can create any amount of systems. Even a startup can create the solutions. The problem is we are not allowing them to penetrate the artificial wall that exists in the businesses that it is not made in India, or it is, then only I will permit. So made in India should be permitted generally, but even after having so many checks and balances and tests and all that they're going through, still there is a problem of having that platform. I just wanted to thank all of you for patiently listening, because I saw nobody looked at their phone, none of you. So thank you very much. I appreciate being called here. Questions? Any questions? All right, I can take maybe one or two. Any question at all? I think, we are in R&D. We do R&D for the country.
If anybody has a question, can we do a show of hands?
So you talked a lot about this quantum. Actually, if you can a little more elaborate on some of the initiatives that you guys have been doing on the quantum side, particularly on the quantum computing? Actually.
Yes, I think, quantum, yeah, I think it's, I don't want to get too technical. At the same time, I want to do the justice to what Indian initiative of having the global standardization and the quantum safe encryption. And so what happens actually is that the quantum computing is carrying 0 and 1 on the same bit at all the times. And consequently, you are having all the permutations that you can think of available at every instance to everybody. Once you read it, that time it gets frozen. It's like a tossing coin. You have tossed a coin, it carries head and tail both, but the moment you hold it, either it will be head or tail, right? So that's what happens with the quantum computing. And more bit you do, 2, 4, 6, 8, 16, then exponentially so much computing power comes in. And every encryption will be broken, consequently it is existing as of now, because computational hardness will not guarantee. That's why we have built this quantum safe encryptor, which will not be broken even by quantum computers when they come, of any order. And the standardization work which is going on, we have 3 classes of algorithms which have been defined as of now, and there will be at least 2 which will make to the global standardization. So we have already put some of the best candidates, we think, on the encryptor. You can't break it, okay? So that's available. I mean, you just take it and then try to break it. Some ethical hackers, you can break it, you'll get award from us, okay? That is about the quantum safe. Any other question? So the only thing that I want to emphasize one more time, patent, participate in the standardization, bring out the system ahead of the time. That's the way for dominance in this technical world. Otherwise, you will always be unsafe all the time, because somebody has done, it's like, somebody is manufacturing the lock, keeping one key with him and selling in the market, and then you say, nobody has the key but myself. He has one key. He has to keep that. He's manufacturer, okay? So that's the whole issue. By the way, I'm amazed with the amount of talent that exists in this country. It's only channelizing, collaborating, making it safe. Thank you.